Alright players, what's up? So this video is for people that want to come and live in Japan. I'm gonna speak to just people in general, the general kind of person. And here's what I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about cities other than Tokyo that are good to live in. And I'll talk about the reasons why Tokyo isn't a good place to live in for the average person. If you're coming to Japan. So most people, the way most people find their way into Japan as a foreigner is through teaching. It's the easiest way to get a visa, it's the easiest way to come here, but it has a lot of downfalls. So I'll start off by saying, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna come and teach in Tokyo, I would say the juice isn't gonna be worth the squeeze. The reason being is that you are just not going to get paid enough to live in Tokyo comfortably. So, basically there's different kinds of options. You're basically going to have to work in a school or a language school or something like this. And a lot of these places will, it's actually hard work. It's not like complicated work, but there's a lot of hours. You have to commute there. It's work. It's a job. It's a job. It's not a very complicated job, but it's definitely a job. It'll tire you out. And what's going to happen is you're not going to get enough money to live comfortably. You're going to work. You're going to finish work. You're going to be tired, and you're going to be like, I'm not getting paid enough for this. So on your days off, you're going to be broke and you're going to be tired, and you're not going to be able to enjoy Tokyo. Tokyo is an amazing city. It's so fascinating. It's an amazing place to come and visit. But if you are working in some crappy language school or school and you're barely able to pay your bills, you're just not going to get to enjoy Tokyo. Coming to visit here and coming to live and work here are two completely different things. I think work culture in Japan is pretty bad in general. So, if you're on the lowest rank, basically a language teacher, you're gonna get paid pennies, and I mean it's unbelievably bad. I talked about it in my previous video, but even with the currency rate, it's gonna feel even worse if you're a Westerner. You're gonna be like, this is ridiculous. How am I getting paid so little? Poverty wages. So in saying that, if you're going to come to Japan and you want to come here as a language teacher, most people don't want to be a language teacher, but it is a good way to get into Japan. But I would say not to come to Tokyo for the reasons I just stated. Because the cost of living here, what you're going to get paid isn't going to match up to the cost of living. And even if you can live, get by, you're not going to have money to do anything else. You're just not. It'll catch up on you, and you're going to get annoyed by it eventually. You're going to be like, on my days off, I'm tired and I'm broke. You're not going to like it. So the alternative to that is to go to a city other than Tokyo, where you could actually have a better quality of life, because it's not as expensive. In some cases, language teaching jobs, the salary is even higher. In Tokyo, they can take advantage of people because it's so competitive, and there's so many people that want to come to everyone wants to come to Tokyo. It's an amazing city, but it causes problems. So you can, not only is the cost of living cheaper outside of Tokyo in other cities, but sometimes also the pay is higher. So it's you're winning on both ends. Ironically, cost of living is higher in Tokyo, sometimes the salary is lower. It's just, that's life. But so I'll talk about cities that I think you should go to other than Tokyo, and you can still live in a city and experience a lot of benefits that you can't really experience in Tokyo. So number one, I'll start at the north. There's in Hokkaido, the main city in Hokkaido is called Sapporo City. It's a decent sized city. 6 months of the year is going to be cold, winterish. if you're into winter sports, skiing, snowboarding, it'd be an epic place to live. This is one of the best places in the world to ski and snowboard. Plus, it's a like, I really like Sapporo. I just like the vibe there. It's kind of retro. It's kind of old school. It's not like insanely crowded like Tokyo, but it still has the city atmosphere. It's still a decent sized city, and there's a game channel, so there's still tons of opportunity to game, and there's hot girls. It's good, and the cost of living's way cheaper. So you're gonna actually be able to live on even a language teaching job without being frustrated by just being like, what the fuck, I'm working, but I'm not actually able to even pay bills and stuff. So that will happen in Tokyo. So yeah, you want to Sapporo is probably, I don't think these are in order. I mean, any of these 4 cities, I have 4 main cities here. There's a lot of other cities, but the 4 main places, Sapporo is one of them. So yeah, great city to live. Number 2 is called Sendai City. It's in Tohoku region. It's actually near where Fukushima, well, it's about an hour north of where Fukushima, the nuclear disaster, happened. But it's all good there. I mean, I lived there for 4 years. I'm still fine. So yeah, no, it's Sendai's a really nice city. It is way more chill, way more laid back than Tokyo, but it still has that city atmosphere. And obviously cost of living is way cheaper. You can get just in terms of even in a place like Sendai, you can live in the city center and and have a nice place for half the price you would pay in Tokyo for a little box room, So yeah, there's just, again, the quality of life is going to be better outside of Tokyo. And sometimes, like I said, even for a language teaching position, even sometimes the pay is going to be higher than it's going to be in Tokyo, which sounds absurd because Tokyo is way more expensive, but it's just because, like I said before, it's competitive. A lot of these companies, they take advantage of people. They're just, they're just basically, taking advantage of the demand for people wanting to work in Tokyo. And so Sendai City, I really liked it. The nightlife and stuff is nothing like what it's like in Tokyo, but in terms of day game, cold approach, it's an unbelievable place. It's amazing. That's where I started doing day game. That's where I started out. I started doing day game in Sendai because the nightlife isn't really that good. I'm from Ireland. I was only really used to doing nightlife, finding girls through nightlife. But in Sendai, the nightlife's not the best. But tons of opportunity to day game. It's a decent sized city, very nice city, and there's just hot girls walking around all the time. So I loved it there. You're close to the mountains too. You can snowboard, ski in the winter. You're close to the sea. You can surf. It has all different advantages that you don't really have in Tokyo. I would say that's Sendai. The third place outside of Tokyo that would be a good option, or maybe one of the best options, I don't know, is Osaka City. Osaka's a really good option to live because it's still a very big city. It's the second largest city in Japan, but Osaka's also close to places like Nara, Kyoto, these historical, beautiful places. So Osaka is maybe, if it's going to be cheaper than Tokyo, and it's going to be more affordable basically, but you're still getting really good nightlife. Nightlife in Osaka would be way better than nightlife in Sendai. So you get the best, you get everything and almost everything in Osaka because you're close to other interesting places like Kyoto, Nara, but you're getting the nightlife too. You're getting a cheaper cost of living, way more affordable than Tokyo, and there's tons of opportunity to day game and cold approach. Infinite. It's as good as it gets. And I haven't lived in Osaka, so I've only lived in Sendai and Tokyo, so, but I've visited these places, so, and they seem very good. And the fourth place, the last place I'll talk about, is called Fukuoka, and it's other than Sendai, because I lived in Sendai and I have a soft spot for that place. I really like it. Fukuoka maybe I don't know why I don't live there, because when I visited there, I really loved it. Maybe it's one of my favorite cities in Japan. Fukuoka is the capital, the biggest city on the southern island of Kyushu. And it's just like in summertime, it's very like tropical. I've only been there in summer, so I don't really know what the other seasons are like, but I presume it has 4 seasons. But the city itself is just a really nice city. It's not too big, it's not too small. It would be like maybe twice the size of Sendai in terms of city size. Just like everyone knows this about Fukuoka in Japan, but like they call them Fukuoka Bijin. It means like beautiful, women of Fukuoka, and it's very true. Like, it's unbelievably true. I was there in summer. I was there for about 2 weeks, and my God, my mind was blown. Like, it's just, girls were just so many beautiful girls just walking around the city. Like, and it's also within very close distance to the sea, so to the beach. You can literally cycle there. I mean, I rented an apartment in the city, and I was going to the beach almost every day, and like there was festivals, and like it was just such a cool city. Really nice atmosphere at night. They have these like street stalls called yatai that not many places in Japan have. There's like food stalls that people eat outside, and there's like these amazing like firework festivals while I was there in the summer. And it's just like, obviously the number one thing that stood out to me was like the sheer amount of sexy, beautiful women walking around the city. Unbelievable. And you go to the beach and it's the same thing, and it's like, wow, just really, really nice, but doesn't have that like chaotic vibe that Tokyo has. And it's just way more affordable, and it's just gonna be more doable. This is for the people that are thinking about coming to Japan, not only for the people that are on the lower end of earnings, such as for teaching and whatnot. It goes for like even high earners, even to visit. Like these kind of cities like Sapporo, Sendai, Osaka, and Fukuoka, they're all good alternatives to Tokyo. As I said, Tokyo's an amazing city. It's very interesting, but it really depends on what your situation is, what you're going to be doing here. Because like I said, you could live here, but it's going to be completely different to visiting, because living and visiting are two different things. Like, if you are coming to Tokyo and you're just going to be a regular language teacher, it's going to get to you eventually. You're going to feel pissed off eventually, because it's just not going to, for the reasons I already gave. You're going to be broke and tired when you're not working, and you're just going to be like, you're not really going to be able to really enjoy what the city has to offer. It's like there's so many cool things to do in Tokyo, but it all costs money, and it's like it's going to be really difficult to do if you can't even pay your bills. That's how bad the money is for being a language teacher in Japan, in Tokyo. So yeah, you're gonna need to be really frugal, and even if you are frugal, as I said, you're gonna have no money left over to do anything. So unless you have a side hustle or whatever, you're gonna need to hustle. But the reason I'm talking about these other cities like Sapporo, Sendai, Osaka, and Fukuoka is that even on a language earning wage, you're not going to be balling or anything, but you're still going to be able to enjoy life somewhat, as opposed to what you would be able to do in Tokyo on a teaching wage. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other advantages. Obviously, it's a game channel, you know, like obviously if you're in one of these cities like that I mentioned, you know, you're as a foreigner, you're going to be more unique. So like there's going to be girls that have more curiosity about you, you know, like there's enough foreigners in Tokyo, so you're not really anything special here, you know. So there is that element when you're in these other cities, smaller cities in Japan, and you're trying to game, is that I do think it's definitely anywhere outside of Tokyo is definitely easier. You're going to have more success, less rejection, because you have that kind of novelty. You'll still have that novelty element to you. So girls that are kind of on the fence about, a little bit curious about foreigners, way more likely to like say yes to you know, an approach or whatever, to give you her number and go on a date with you and go to bed with you basically. So yeah, I mean, if you're curious about any of this and you want to know more about it, check out the link in the description. Hit me up for a free consultation. Even if you're in Japan, if you're in Japan, I do boot camps, pickup boot camps, day game boot camps, and you know, I've been here 9 years and I'm pretty much an expert on it, so I know exactly what I'm talking about, and it is without a shadow of a doubt the best way to get hot girls. You know, there's no other way that I would have come close to getting with the kind of girls I've gotten with. Dating apps, forget about it. Like it's you know, it's just I've used them, but it just doesn't compare to the kind of results I've gotten from cold approach and pickup. It just blows everything out of the water. Yeah, so as I said, why not take the opportunity, get the free consultation, link in description, and if you're in Japan, consider doing a boot camp. Even if you're just considering it, hit me up for a free consultation and I'll tell you about it. You know, when I do these boot camps, I take you out on the street and I show you how to game. If you've never done game before, I show you, so you're gonna see it work. Like it's I have to prove myself, I have to prove my method, and you will see it. And you, if you've, you know, so it's not like yeah, you're gonna see that it's 100% valid, it's 100% legit, it's not a scam. It's like, oh, day game's a scam, it doesn't work. Yeah, come do a boot camp with me, come out and game with me, and you will see it does work. So yeah, anyway, that's all I got to say. I will leave it there. So yeah, peace out, bye bye.